The other one I think that's all of them. Yeah, we're gonna jump into Wumble's picks. Wumble's picks. Wumble's picks. Wumble's picks.
Almost fixed.
Was it Wumble's picks? Wumble's picks. This is Wumble's picks segment. Keyan, this is do not see BTCPay on-chain receive transactions as Bitcoin beginners territory. Picture room, 7 comments, 401 sats. Wumble's picks. This is one that Wumble picks every week here on Stacker.News Live. Wumble does all behind-scenes stuff that you see. It's all magic.
It is pretty magical how he does it. Yeah. So this week it's about this post triggered it, which gets to something we call the gap limit problem, which is a problem that you will encounter when you have loaded something that we call you load an extended public key into a watch only wallet or some other system, and you do not see all your transactions in it. And that's because this XPub allows you to take your seed phrase and extend it into multiple addresses, because in Bitcoin, you do not want to receive to the same address more than once for privacy reasons. So each address is kind of new. It can be a new person, and that's kind of the way it appears on chain, and that's good for your privacy. So we have these things called derivation paths, which are specified in your XPub and allow you, using this specification and in the XPub, to generate an unlimited amount of receiving addresses from just this little piece of information. And the problem that occurs is that a lot of these wallets, they have what is called a gap limit, where if for some of those addresses you have generated in this derivation path, it's like you can imagine you're hiking along a path and there are sandwiches along the path, and let's say you don't eat 20 of those sandwiches. The software assumes that you did not continue on the path, because anyone who went on this path would eat those sandwiches, really. And so it kind of stops and says, this person did not continue hiking on this path. And so it's the same with these addresses. These addresses got generated and they weren't consumed, they weren't used. So a lot of these wallets are like, okay, I don't need to look any further. I don't need to look on chain for any more of these addresses getting consumed. And so you end up, oftentimes you'll like export, you'll have like BTCPay server, and it'll show all of these transactions, or you look on chain and it'll look like I have more money than this watch only wallet, this blue wallet. Say I load my XPub into blue wallet. Mm-hmm. My watch only wallet is not showing all of these transactions that I have. It's showing that I have less money than I do. It's because it had a gap. You had a gap in your derivations of addresses that were unused, and it stopped looking for them. So you usually have to say, oh, you know what? I skipped eating 30 sandwiches on the path, not 20. So you need to actually look 30 sandwiches along the path, and you'll see me continue eating sandwiches later, and then you'll know where I am. It's kind of like that.
Wasn't there a wallet? I forget whose wallet it was, but they discovered this like when they were building their wallet, and then I think we talked about it, and it was like,
I think Zapprite Zapprite wrote a blog post about how they solved the gap limit problem. I think even Mutiny might have written a blog post about the gap
about how then how like most people don't realize this. Interesting. And I'm sure OnChain has written a lot of posts about this, right?
Yeah, it comes up all the time. I think this was like, when I clicked on this link, I was expecting to go to another post where a guy had the exact same problem a few days earlier than this post was written. And Natalia wrote a post about the gap limit problem, where I think their BTCPay server showed that they had the money, but then they had a watch only wallet, I think in Blue Wallet, that did not show it. And it was just this rectifying this gap limit problem. Usually it's a configuration setting in your wallet, where you can tell it how big a gap you might have. Yeah. And I think there are like optimizations you can do around it if you're a wallet developer.
That's crazy. Like, you would think, and I don't mean crazy, it's just crazy that because most people don't know this, but you would think like we would be working on some of this stuff, like as some of this stuff that that you think would be more important for people that are trying to, you know, I don't know. I mean, that's just
this would be a huge UX improvement if someone could make this problem go away. But I think fundamentally you can't really do much, because again, the path is infinitely long. Like the path, the possible, you have to, if you're developing a wallet, you have to choose at some point to not look at every possible address that could be generated, because there's infinity of them. And so you say, if I come across 20, maybe even 300 addresses that were derived and all of them are empty, they were never used, I don't need to look at infinity addresses, because I know it's highly unlikely they have 300 unused addresses.
yeah.
So that's so I'm not sure there's a great.
So is it just set up by the wallet by default, or just depending on what wallet that you're using?
The gap limit itself, yeah. Each wallet has their own limit. I think the default in most wallets is around 20.
Why so low? Just because they don't expect you to receive that many.
Yeah, to get that many invoices or to generate that many invoices that are unpaid, I think. And I think it's not, and these are typically, it's usually a result, I think, of a bug in the software that a gap even occurs, because the addresses can just be, if you generate an address, it should be, and it doesn't get paid, it should be used to pay for the next invoice. So if you're like BTCPay server and you go to buy a hat from me on my BTCPay server, and you just don't pay the invoice, anyone comes back to buy a hat or a shirt or whatever, I can use the same exact Bitcoin address again. And so on some level, it's like the problem occurs because of like a bug in software. They create the gap when they probably don't need to. In some cases, maybe they do need to. I don't really know. I haven't developed one of these wallets, but so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like
be a bigger gap though.
I feel like most people just probably moved on from working on Bitcoin on chain at this point. They're just like, we're done with it.
I think there's a lot of people. This is just, I don't think
such a low priority. They're just like, who cares?
Yeah, I think it's just, this is like
such a low priority thing. I think it's a big thing.
It'd be cool if somehow this problem didn't exist, but
yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's. I think it's like fundamental.
No one cares about on-chain anymore, to be honest.
I think it's that. Well, you were just talking about on-chain.
I mean, trust me. I'm gonna start using on-chain stuff. This would help me achieve my goal.
Okay, what do you think?
I want to send 300 on-chain transactions a week. This will help me.
300 on-chain. What kind of? Okay,
just $5 on-chain. 300, 500 transactions a week.
All right.
Help me do this.
Well, good luck.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's
great post.
That's the gap limit problem. If you want to read more about the gap limit or any of these things that we cover in Wumbo's picks, which are usually more fundamental Bitcoin things that I'm even not very super familiar with. I would go to
don't like it. Don't subscribe it.
Yeah, don't do that. LearnMeABitcoin.com. LearnMeABitcoin.com has a lot of great explainers on basically everything.
This is just like this. Learn
me a Bitcoin.com. It's a great website. It's interactive.
Boom.
And it's been up forever.
Do it. Is it just www?
No, I think you probably need www.
See if that works. Oh, there you go. There you go.
But you can go, like, if you search for derivation path at the top there,
you can even learn how on-chain still is not complete. Derivation. You can learn how derivation path, how on-chain is not complete, but we rather have inscriptions instead.
I think you said deviration.
Oh, dev.
DERI.
Oh, there it goes. I found it.
There you go.
You can learn how some of the things that we really need in Bitcoin are just not important.
At the very bottom of this page, they describe the gap limit in detail. They kind of show how addresses are derived from the XPub, and
there you go,
and where it occurs.
You too can learn how this is not as important as inscriptions and ordinals, just like I did today.
Well,
cool. Thank you, Wumble, for picking this one.